But they have everything there you need. They have American stores. They have all the foods you want. The only thing I wish I would have done beforehand is prepare more. I wish I would have learned more the basics before I went into the MTC about the language more. Maybe just like the little habits of the culture. And to really for the Chinese people, you gotta just love them. And the style, like, it really depends on. The way I did missionary work was way different from most missionaries. Not way different, but it was different compared to white missionaries because I was trained by a native and he taught me differently how to work. And that actually really benefited me throughout my whole entire mission. But just the culture in general is they want to see you trying to be Chinese, just like any language. They want to see you, but they also like to see you mix because they love the fact that you're American. Some of them, they like Britain. Because I'm English, my parents are English, so I use that to my advantage all the time. They love it. They love soccer. They love you talking sports with them. That's how I got tons of like contacts or referrals, or the fact that I love to be outside, or I try to relate to the Chinese as much as possible. They like that. They want to trust you. Even though sometimes they're very stubborn and don't want to listen to you. But if you just kind of get them with being who you are, like that's how I got many lessons. I'll just call people and like just talk to them about who I was instead of just getting strictly to trying to teach a lesson. I was like, yeah, they love British people, so I use it all the time. It's like, yeah, I'm English and American. Like my parents from England, I love soccer. And they're like, oh, you like soccer? It's like, yeah, I love it. And they're like, oh, we need to play. It's like, yeah, I'd love to play with you. And like we just talked. So I was like, yeah, and I'd love to meet you too. And like just building that relationship with them, just talking about random things, got me so many lessons. And so like it was just trying to be relatable to them instead of just like in any culture, you just want to get to Chinese people, you need to love their food, you need to love what they do. You got to fake it till you make it if you don't. And so it was just that's like how they are. They're very stubborn, I will say. Very stubborn, very traditional. They will their culture too is they'll tell you if you're fat. Straight up, you're fat. You need to lose some weight. Start working out. You need to eat less. They'll tell you if you have like zits on your face, I guess, like boils on your face. Like, you have boil. I know that. Like, you don't think I see myself in the mirror every day? Like, or they'll tell you like, oh, you're too skinny, you're too fat, or like they'll straight up tell you, like in America, we would never do that. But they'll tell the sister missionaries all the time that they're like fat and stuff like that. I was like, I was like, oh, and like they make the sister missionaries feel really bad, and I was like, that's not good. It's like they're just, I guess, the Asian culture in general too. Also, it's really safe in Hong Kong, extremely safe. Like there'd be like little girls walking on the street by themselves at like 10 o'clock at night, and like they'd be perfectly fine. Don't know why. There's no guns. I never felt threatened once, ever. It's like the safest place I've ever been in my life. Really cool, safer than Utah, I'd say. And it's just, maybe not, but it was really safe. The little girls are the cutest things. We call them moi mois, because just Chinese little girls are so cute. Moi moi, it's like, how much? It's like, it's funny. And like whenever we talk to Chinese people, the first thing they ask when you're like, oh, how are you? They're like, I'm fine, thank you. Like that's their response to anything. It's like, where are you going? Sometimes they don't have that good of English. They're like, I'm fine, thank you. You're like, I didn't ask you that, but okay. It's like, that's just their response. And so like, it was super funny. And, but yeah, it's just really safe. The only time I felt threatened was when I was around white people that were drunk and that would come to Hong Kong, just like party, and because they would say stuff, and I was like, we got to get out of here. But even then, it wasn't bad because I've heard Hong Kong was so safe. It was great. Typhoons. There's typhoons there. I never experienced a major. I experienced a size 8 typhoon. We had to stay in once, but that was it. And just a wonderful place. Very, very international. I feel like it's the business center of the world now, or one of them. It's thriving. The economy is great. If you want to compare, like, like people who are in like economics need to study like the way Hong Kong does things because it thrives so much. But the people, they love you too. Once you've gained their love, they really like to show it. And even though they're not Chinese people, they don't like to use the word love. They use like a lot. Like, I like her, instead of saying I love her, they say I like her, even though it's kind of the same thing. But you wouldn't say, well, I speak Mandarin there. Like, it was more of an American thing to say. But people start they're slowly, they love their American culture, so they pick up on it. And then you do American things. They love to watch American movies. They kind of want it. They love the fact that they're Chinese, but they also don't. People in Hong Kong, they like to separate themselves. They don't want to be considered from mainland China. They consider just, obviously, like just the different cultures and stuff like that. They love the fact that they used to be a British colony. They don't want to switch over. They're doing everything they can to make that power, because China is trying as hard as they can to get the ruling to switch faster than 50 years, because they're slowly implementing the rules, but technically it shouldn't happen until 50 years later. And so like they're fighting back to make sure it doesn't happen. That's why we're allowed to proselyte. Cool thing as well is the work for Chinese people for baptisms is going. I was able to participate in several people from mainland China getting baptized, and that was an honor. The people in China are ready for the gospel. They're so ready. The only reason why we're not there yet is because what I've talked to is we're not ready as a church, and from my understanding, I'm not sure if this is correct, but we're not ready, and also the government as well isn't ready in China, because if they let us in, they'll have to let every other church in. But they love us. They love our church. Chinese government. They think we're wonderful. But the work's being done. They'll come in like truckloads from mainland China and get baptized on that same day. It's really cool because they hear about the gospel. They can share it with their families. You can only share it with your family. White people, when they're in China, cannot share the gospel. It's against the rules. They'll get kicked out. And so but the work is getting done in China, even though it's slow, and it hopefully will open soon. It was just a privilege to see. There's a family that I found that were just so excited to hear about the gospel. They're just like, what is this? Just like, this is amazing. And I left the area, but they were just wonderful. There's a lot of people there that need the gospel. This is sad to say, but you could kind of tell it's a very worldly place. They're obsessed with worldly things. I think I read in a book once where it did say it's the most materialistic place in the world. They love their phones. They love their clothes. Very fashionable. Great fashion. They love their materialistic things, but you can see, no offense to my Chinese friends, but you can see that the people in China are not that happy, like with what they have. They want more. Or maybe not necessarily want more. You can just tell those materialistic things are not making them happy. And that they need something different. They need something real, truth. They're so obsessed with worldly things that it's just been kind of. It was sad to watch because I'd be on the train and I'd just sit there and watch them, and they're all like, even now, even as Americans, we're always on our phones, and even I've gotten to the habit too since I've been home. But there's so many other things we can be watching instead of constantly looking at our phones. We could be talking to the person right next to us, making a new friend. But that's just how it is there, and it was interesting to see and to look at. And I try not to. I hate texting. I hate it. Like, I hate texting, and like they love it. They just love their technology. They have fantastic. Their phones there are so cool. Way cool. Their technology there is awesome. Like we have all the same stuff here, but they're a little different there as well. But just, it's a very modern city. Transportation, like I said, technology, food, housing. The housing there is really expensive. They live in these tiny apartments with like 5 of them, and that was hard to adjust to. In my first apartment, I had to like like move around because like my suitcases were in the way, and I had to like get over them to get into my bed, and like it was just that's how tiny the apartments are. And I wish they had bigger apartments or bigger places to live, but they don't. And like that was sad. Not sad, but just we're really blessed here to have such big homes. Because I lived in a place as big as like these rooms in American homes. Like that's a whole apartment, and it was just that was cool, I guess. But I love the food. It's great. They have the Chinese woks. I feel like everyone should get a wok. Those things are amazing. And just now when I cook food, I feel like I can only cook like the way Chinese cook. I boil everything now, and like I steam everything, so that's cool. I like that, and it's great food. Yeah.